In this week's Parshat Beshalach, we have a very intriguing passage in which Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, tells Yoshua to lead the Jewish people into battle with the nation of Amalek. So the Jewish people go into battle down in a valley, and Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, is up on a hillside overlooking the valley. And Moshe Rabbeinu notices that when his hands are up in the air, the Jewish people prevail in battle. And then when his hands go down, they start to lose. So Moshe makes an effort to keep his hands up, but the Torah tells us that his hands started to get heavy. So Moshe Rabbeinu is up on the mountain or hillside with his brother Aaron and Hur. So Aaron and Hur see what's going on, and they bring a large rock over so Moshe Rabbeinu can sit down, and then they stand one on each side, as the Torah says, mizeh echad and mizeh echad. Echad, one on this side and one on this side, and each one supports one of Moshe Rabbeinu's hands. So that way Moshe Rabbeinu can keep his hands up with very little effort, and the Jewish people win the battle. So the Imrei Chaim, the commentary of the Imrei Chaim, says something very interesting. Mizeh echad and mizeh echad. Echad, the gematria, the Hebrew numerology of the word echad, is 13. So we have echad and echad, one on each side. 13 plus 13 equals 26. 26 is the numerology, the gematria of God's ineffable four-letter name, Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey, the tetragrammaton, as some people call it. So what the Imrei Chaim is saying and teaches us is that Echad and Echad, God was with Moshe and filled Moshe and gave Moshe the koach, the potential and the power in his hands to keep them up, and the Jewish people were successful because of that. Right after that in the verse, we are told that V'yehei yadav emunah, that Moshe's hands were emunah. Now emunah generally means faith and trust in God. But in this case, it's sometimes translated as Moshe's hands were steadfast. It could mean. But the Rabbi Nachman of Breslov has a beautiful interpretation. He says that his hands were emunah. Rabbi Nachman explains that there are different levels when it comes to emunah, when it comes to faith. There's one lower level of faith that's just in the heart, in the lave, in the heart. But ideally, emunah has to fill our hearts, yes, but it has to spread out into all of our limbs. And Rabbi Nachman explains that Moshe Rabbeinu was so permeated and filled with emunah that it spread out even to his hands. So the verse says, literally, his hands were faith, his hands were emunah. And Rabbi Nachman says that Moshe was so filled with faith that it permeated even his outer limbs, his hands. So I wish us all my deepest wishes and blessings that we should follow in Moshe's footsteps and feel so permeated with emunah, with faith and belief and trust in God, that we feel it even in our fingertips and down to our toes. Have a wonderful Shabbos.